Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Interknot Interviews. Well, welcome to the Interknot Interviews, where I bring on guests from the industry and good friends to interview and get to know them a little bit better. Today's guest is Sam Slade, the stellar voice actor to your favorite characters, like Anby or Topaz and Anby. I mean, just Topaz. Or also Anby. Anyways, if you guys would like more fun segments like these, make sure to leave a like, and away we go. I did want to kind of start with some current events, because you, amongst the many other voice actors, have been touring constantly around the world to go to so many conventions. What conventions have you been to recently?
Well, first, that is all to the credit of the fans who reach out to their local conventions and ask to see us. And all to the credit of my amazing agent who says, bring Sam, I promise she won't bankrupt you. Because as you know, bringing guests to conventions, they pay for our accommodations and our travel and stuff. So thank you guys, everyone involved for bringing us out. I love traveling. I love meeting fans. But yeah, since May, I've been kind of all over the place since May, honestly. Oh, hi, puppy. My doggy came to say hello. So let me see. The beginning of May, I was in New Jersey.
Okay.
From there, I went to the Honkai Star Rail event in Irvine. Then I was in San Diego, then NocoCon in upstate New York. Next week, I'll be in Los Angeles for Anime Expo. 2 weeks after that, I'll be in Sacramento. And then the month after that, I'll be in Dallas, Texas for Windbloom. So I am very, very grateful to meet so many amazing people. I love meeting fans. Honestly, when I first started acting, I was like, I'm doing this for fun. I love what I do. And it just means a lot that, my work has reached so many people, because it's something I just didn't really consider at first. Because, when you start doing something as a hobby, you don't think it's going to end up as a career, right?
100%.
You do it because you love doing it, and you're like, if it works out, it works out. And then, sometimes you fuck around and find out and it works out. And you're just like, you know what? I'm just happy that I'm enjoying myself, and then other people are enjoying themselves watching me enjoy myself. So it's a whole lot of fun. I love meeting people.
There you go. Talking about fucking around and finding out, I mean, we've kind of gone through your lore a little bit, but for those of you who don't necessarily know how, Sam, you got your background in voice acting, would you be able to divulge that a little bit?
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of us in the industry come from two routes, either the professional, I trained for this, or I started from another area of acting, like on camera or theater, and then found myself in voiceover. And then there's some of us who started in the indie world and, started as a hobby, and then one thing turned to another, and then you're like, oh wow, I'm working on the projects that I didn't think I would ever see auditions for, which is super neato. But for me, so in late 2020, I was finishing up my master's degree, because at the time I was going to go hospitality corporate. I have a Master of Science in Business Administration and a concentration in hospitality revenue analytics. So I was going to go revenue manager route, corporate hotel route, basically like forecasting and pricing and stuff like that, depending on a bunch of different variables. And I live fairly close to two major hotel brand headquarters. So I was like, okay, great. I'm going to join everyone else in my region where I live and, take my expensive degree and make big money, because that's what everyone does around Washington, D.C. And then the degree was done, and I was like, I need a hobby. So it was late 2020, and I was talking to some friends. We were on Discord playing Genshin Impact, and I was like, guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And someone was like, oh, well, I know some people who do voice work, for free for, student projects and visual novels and comic dubs, and it could be something you can do. And I was like, I've never acted before. That would be super embarrassing. I never did theater, never did drama, just because I didn't have time to, because I was, I was a band kid through and through, and I did multiple ensembles throughout college and high school. So acting was the one thing I never got around to. So long story short, a friend had suggested a website to me where it was basically like a job ad forum for fan projects, essentially. And then one thing led to another. I had my first paid project. I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this. this is really difficult because I'm pursuing a professional career. At the time, I was a director of catering at a pretty, like, I don't want to say, like, it was a family-friendly, but, like, high-end country club.
Okay.
And so, like, I was, like, working my, like, corpo career. We were having a good time. It was great. I loved it. I had so much passion for the work at the time. And then, the pandemic turned people into monsters and I left the industry. But anyway, I took a lot of classes, I took a lot of lessons, and I was like, man, I really, 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 really love doing this. And I had I was really grateful that I had, like, the resources and the privilege to have all of my adult money that I was earning from my day job to, like, fund my my increasingly expensive hobby. And then over time, it just turned into, taking classes with people, and I met people and then the community, and wanting to challenge myself more and get in front of, more decision makers just to kind of test the waters and see what would happen. Like I said, fucking around, finding out. And then I got to a point where I started to question my entire career path. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I really want to do this. And of course, my mother, the Asian mother, was like, don't quit your day job. Don't you dare quit your money-making job to become an actor. Don't you dare. And I was like... So I kept the day job for as long as I could. Actually, I had a day job until literally 2 months ago. Anyway, long story short, I did hobby work for a really long time. Until it no longer became hobby work. And then I got picked up by my Los Angeles agent, and then a couple months later, picked up by my New York agent, and then a couple months later, things felt right when, agents are business people, and they make, time investing decisions. When they invest in a new client, they call it, like, the actors' clients. When they invest in a new client, they're making a business decision. And after months and months and months of me playing is this a career or is this a hobby game? And reading for agents and classes, attending agent nights and things just never really working out. I was like, you know what? Maybe if now isn't the time, maybe it isn't the time. Maybe it's okay to just have a hobby. And then, like, I got drop kicked out of the sky by someone saying, hey, there's this agent who has a workshop. I think you should take it. And I was like, I'm done taking agent nights. I'm good. It was like 6 months later, I'd spent a couple $1,000s on, meet and greets, because a lot of the industry is, technically a pay to play. Unfortunately, you pay money to get in front of people who may or may not give you jobs. Anyway, I took the workshop and I emailed my agent. Well, at the time wasn't my agent. I emailed them the next day and said, hey, thanks so much for the opportunity. It was great reading for you. He gave me really good notes that night. And, like, I felt, really like, oh, like, this guy was, like, kind of a hard ass on a lot of people. And, it made me feel really good that, like, he didn't have any, he had, like critical comments, but it wasn't borderline stop acting. You know what I mean?
It wasn't Gordon Ramsay, like...
You know what? I'm going to send him an email and see what happens. He replied 8 minutes later and offered me to take me as a client. And I was sitting at my day job looking at my phone like, what is happening? And then I started booking shortly after. And, I owe so much to my agent for taking a chance on me. He knew I was, a greener talent. I'd only been doing it for about 2 years at that point when he brought me on. So I was super, super, super new. He was taking a chance on me, and I appreciate him endlessly. And he and his team have taken such beautiful care of me, and I appreciate them. So anyway, that is I keep saying long story short, but, like, that is essentially how I got to where I am. Just a whole lot of tenacity, sheer willpower, spite, and a lot of money.
No, I feel as though, there are of course some exceptions to the rule, but, like, it takes that amount of tenacity, it takes that amount of, like, gall to, to bet on yourself. And even though you didn't reach that point of, like, oh, now I have the manager, now it seems real, you kept working at it, which a lot of people unfortunately kind of drop along the way because they don't see that direct, like, one-to-one, okay, I'm now getting this result now. And in a more creative industry, it's never really a linear path with these things, and you can definitely take so many left and right turns, and then once you hit that stride.
No, for real. It's like what people don't talk about is so much of it really is luck, which is unfortunate because there are so many people who are so talented and deserve nothing but success and, to be able to make a living doing just what they want to do across all creative paths. but there really just comes a point where it's like the crossroads of right time, right place, and then sometimes a secret third variable, like the z-axis of, I don't know, like right person intervening to make sure that, you know, you get to where you need to be in that moment to get the gears turning. Like if someone hadn't sent me that link to register for my Now Agents workshop, then like I don't know where I'd be. Like life comes at you really fast, guys. You never know what's going to happen.
We have a lightning round of questions, just a little bit more, you know, get to know Sam and dive a little bit deeper into the iceberg of it all. Your first question, Sam, if you could be any animal, what would you be?
Shit. Great question. I don't know. Off the top of my head, probably a dog, and I want a really nice owner with a lot of money who can take care of me.
Okay, that's very specific. What is your favorite media movie genre?
Horror, but like good horror. Horror asterisk.
Ooh, horror thriller or just horror?
Yes.
Okay. If you were stuck on an island with any one character that you voiced, who would you be stranded with?
Off the top of my head, probably just based on experience and resources. Probably Topaz. I think she'd call a ship to come get us.
What is your favorite Asian dish?
My favorite savory dish is pancit palabok. My favorite sweet dish is cassava cake.
Ooh, okay, solid. Okay, this question I'm gonna spin a little bit. This is from JK24Best. If we were to be a professional right now in any creative media outside of voice acting, what would we be?
I really respect all of the work that directors do. And to me, not underutilized. It's like an underappreciated almost part of what we do. I just think it's a really, really cool and specific art form to be able to say, this is what I'm looking for, and be able to use your words and use analogies and, you know, help guide the actor to the performance that they're looking for. Back when I was first starting to work on Honkai Star Rail, I didn't know Topaz was an antagonist. It's just, I don't know whether they hadn't gotten that. I didn't know. Like, I didn't know whether, like, they just didn't put it in the script. They said, this is who she is, and this is what she's doing. And I went, okay, great. And then I showed up to start recording her Trailblaze continuance, and they were like, yeah, so anyway, Sam, everyone's gonna fucking hate her. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? He was like, if they don't hate her, you're not going hard enough. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm playing an antagonist? He goes, Sam, I want you to say everything like you're holding a taser behind your back and they don't know it. And it's like that really heavy, charged, like I have the power in this situation type delivery. And I was like, that's incredibly specific. And that I think helped guide me to where I wanted to be. You know, it's that specific imagery that helps put someone in a position that, you know, guides their emotions. And I think that's incredibly powerful. So all that to say, I would love to, if I weren't an actor, I would want to be a career director.
Okay. Next question here is from Flaming M. What are some unexpected challenges you face when voice acting, either when starting out or even now into where you're at in your career?
Unexpected challenges, I would say, you know, we live in an era of, like, what is it called? We do something, we see the result of something. We do something, we see the result of something. Whether it's, you know, you send off a tweet and you go, haha, this is a banger, and you watch the likes crank up. Like, like it's the instant gratification of everything that we do, and we're so used to that. What you don't realize in an art form like acting is that everything that we do plants the seeds for tomorrow. You know, like you don't know when the actions you take today are going to affect the future. You don't know when things are, when you send it off an audition, you don't know if or when you're going to hear back. I submitted auditions, and then like 6 months later they go, hey, you booked it. And I go, oh, fuck, I forgot I read for this. I knew going in that it would be the long haul. It is quite literally a marathon and not a sprint. And everyone's journey looks different. So for some people, it is a sprint, and it works out super well, because you never know, you know, like I said earlier in the interview, like, you never know where life's gonna take you. Like, shit gets real crazy real fast sometimes, and then you go, oh God, whoa, okay, this is, when it rains, it pours. And that's awesome when that happens, in my opinion. But you never know when the rain is going to come. And a lot of my like motivation from early in my career or early in my hobby work was driven by wanting to see results. So I took a ton of classes, took a lot of classes, spent a lot of money because I wanted validation. I wanted people to tell me, hey, this is going well. I wanted to see the result of my work in the forms of getting auditions, like competitive auditions, like anime and video game auditions, you know, and doing it for less than a year. And what do you mean I'm not reading for Crunchyroll? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Because starting from the hobby field, I didn't know really any professionals. I didn't have anyone to sit me down and say, hey, you know, this is what this career or what this like hobby in a more professional, you know, atmosphere looks like. And that's one thing that, you know, I knew about, but I never actually understood it. And, you know, looking back, I wish I had more of a guiding figure who was realistic with the whole, hey, if this is something you're taking seriously, this is, you know, like it takes time and it takes a lot of work and perseverance and getting in front of people and convincing people that you're the right person for the job is what a lot of this job actually entails. And that's what auditions are, honestly. It's convincing them, hey, you can trust me with, you know, the character that you're writing. Like, I can do this work. But anyway, all that to say, like, I think having someone early in my career having like given me the, hey, you don't need to speed run this, I think would have been very valuable. And I would give that advice to anyone pursuing any creative career. Like, take your time, enjoy. And if taking your time and enjoying means, you know, taking a shit ton of lessons and classes because you want to see yourself grow, do it. But if you're doing it to get the external validation, you don't know when or if that will ever come. And when there go months, when months go by and you don't hear good news, you think you're a failure and you think something is going wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I need to do better. No, you don't know that. There can be so many reasons why you're not getting the news that you want. And the odds of it you being your fault are so slim. There are so many factors that come into play, and especially in the creative industries. So like, just wait, just breathe, do your thing, love what you do. And it's not a matter of if it comes, it's a matter of when it comes. Just keep doing your thing. Just chill. It's cool, Sam, you got it.
I think for me, the takeaways were like, right, if you're taking the right steps, the day to day, the week to week, the month to month, you'll end up where you need to go. And having, you know, that mentor, that figure, someone you can kind of lean on, that perspective is just so valuable, because that kind of gives you a, not necessarily the exact step by step, but it gives you that generalized roadmap of being like, hey, I know where I am, and that kind of that comfort and that understanding, right? And then internalizing that to being like, okay, you know, I might not be seeing result at this point in time, but if I keep doing A, B, C, and D, it'll lead to where I need to go. 100%.
Exactly. You know, like, industries like these aren't like fitness, where if you follow the formula, then over a certain period of time, you'll watch the muscle mass grow and you'll watch, you know, like the body fat fall off and whatever. Like, it is not the same. It is not linear. And even when you compare individual to individual, like I mentioned early on, there is so much luck into play that people don't talk about, which is genuinely unfair. And I hate how much luck has to do with a lot of it. But that is just the nature of the game. And I think, you know, it's unrealistic to say luck has nothing to do with it, because you can be the hardest fucking worker in the room and the most talented individual. But if, like, you roll the dice and it's not your time, then it's not your time.
Again, right? Luck is where preparation meets the opportunity too. So
hell yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
This advice doesn't necessarily have to just be, you know, voice acting centric. If you guys are wanting to pursue any type of creative media, a lot of these, like, you know, generalized like philosophies and stuff, like you guys can apply to your path as well. So as some kind of, you know, closing remarks, Sam, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. And we kind of went through a bunch of things, and I'm so grateful for the amazing insight that you're able to bring, because I know chat, you know, maybe some of you guys are also inspiring artists or maybe even voice actors and such, and being able to see some of your role models and folk like Sam, you know, I think that's what the whole point of the Interknot Interviews is about. So I'm very grateful that you came on today. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm a yapper. I love chatting. I can talk forever, honestly. I have no problem with that. So thank you for having me.
Sam, where can we find you outside of our little show here?
You can find me on Twitch at It's Sam Slade. You can find me on Twitter, the same thing. I'm mostly active on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram at Sam Slade VO.
We'll let you go. Thanks so much. And we'll chat.
Thank you.
Chat later.
Have a good day. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Hey, folks. If you guys would like to catch more Interknot interviews, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We do a bunch more Zenless Zone Zero and just variety gacha gaming content over here. And if you would love to meet some of your favorite voice actors and industry folk, hey, make sure you subscribe. And let me know in the comments down below who you want to bring on next time on the Interknot interviews. It's your boy Josh. We'll see you in the next one.